What up, yo, St. Pete? So I was having a conversation with a really good friend of mine over the weekend. Amazing person. One of the most genuine souls that I ever met. He's really one of the kindest and smartest and one of the most spiritual people that I've met in a long time. And he's very inspiring to me, inspires me. He gets me motivated. I'm proud to call him a friend. And he immigrated to here from Brazil, something like 20 years ago. I think that's what it was. And we were talking about how he was like, it doesn't really make sense that they don't allow people to become citizens. That they make it so hard to become a citizen. That the process is just like, it doesn't even make sense. And how they allow, they'd rather tolerate illegal immigrants compared to, just making people go through the process, because once you go through the process, you now, you can become a more productive citizen to the economy. Now, put aside the fact that I don't agree with taxes and I don't agree with government in general, but put all that aside for now and we'll just talk about the conversation that we were having. And he was like, because once you become a legal citizen and you get a driver's license and you get your insurance and you can pay the taxes and all that, it seemed like a good business deal, right? So yeah, that does make sense, right? And now the whole idea of immigrants taking our jobs, like, oh, come on, like most of the jobs that these immigrants are taking are jobs that Americans typically don't want. Um, and the fact that you're talking about somebody, immigrants that don't speak English well, they're not familiar with the culture, they really don't you know understand it in ways like the good paying jobs that people have in this country. If you're going to lose them to somebody that doesn't understand the culture and doesn't understand the language really well, and you're losing your job to that person, then you deserve to lose your job. And the whole idea of people coming in and cutting people and doing things cheaper and doing a better job. I mean, that isn't that capitalism? Isn't capitalism the idea is that if somebody could provide a better service at a cheaper rate, then hey, it is what it is. It's all fair game, you know. So the idea of illegal immigration, that it's almost encouraged to have illegal immigration, which doesn't make sense. According to a friend of mine, he was like, it wouldn't be a better business deal to just make them citizens, and then now you could start taxing them and whatever, all that stuff, right? So it made me think, like, the weaponization of immigration. So the idea, like, say for example, um, people come to this country. Now, immigrants, I work with guys from Honduras, and they are some of the hardest workers. They are the nicest people. They really are. I mean, they walk to here from Honduras. That's incredible to me. Like, if you walk to here, and you're a good person, and there should be no reason why you can't go through a process and become a citizen. Other than they want to keep you illegal, right? So, for example, why I say that they want to keep the immigration thing such a hot topic, make it such a emotionally charged topic, to make it a trigger for people, and they want to keep immigration illegal, right? Is because you have people that are immigrating to this country that are coming from harsh conditions in these other countries, in South America and Mexico, and a lot of them conditions that that are going on in there economically, we could trace that back to, the Confessions of an Economic Hitman, for example, that type of, idea. Um, so you come to this country, you're coming from a war-torn country or an economically torn country, and you come here and you're working and you're doing your thing, you're providing, and you're comparing your situation right now to that situation where you come from, and you're like, I don't know what the hell this redheaded dude's talking about, because the shit here is pretty good. Like this guy's ranting and raving about, revolution, and we can't allow certain things, and you know all my typical rants, and they look at me like, man, it's crazy, like this is good here. Now they're comparing this to the situation that they came from in that war-torn, economically torn country. So coming here and seeing that, they're like, this is good. This is a good deal. So, and then on the other hand, you have someone like me who is not have had to deal with them kind of living conditions, and realizing that where we're at right now, that we're going to end up in situations like that, situations that they were escaping. We're going to end up in them kind of situations if we continue down this path. All right. So you have these two opposing camps. So they allow the illegal immigration, because now if you're an illegal immigrant, you don't want to rock the boat. You're not going to want to start beating the drum about, we got to get rid of these guys, and being all radical like me, because you can't send me nowhere. You can't send the people that were born here anywhere. We're here. There's nowhere you can send me, and for now anyway. But anyway, so this so keeping people in this status of illegal has now created a dichotomy. It has created a group of people who don't want to rock the boat, and then you got the people that are like, yo, this is terrible. We're headed towards tyranny, and something's got to be done. And now, the thing too with it as well is that if you come here illegally and you're not able to provide for whatever reasons, that the certain states will just allow for illegal people to now collect benefits. Now, we can't be mad at the people for that. The people that are escaping these conditions, that are coming here, basically refugees, people that are seeking refuge, that are coming here. How can we be mad at another human who's trying to live a better life? You can't. Like, and it's not their fault that the rules and the laws are not being followed. It's being done intentionally. It's being done intentionally because now it is now creating a group of people who are become dependent upon the state, and they won't question the state because they're not going to bite the hand that feeds them. So they're not going to rock the boat. So they want to keep people in this place of fear so that we don't unite. And that's the big difference too. Like when our ancestors came here, we're all immigrants too. So all of our ancestors came here, and they had to go through the process, and it is it's becoming a bigger and bigger rift that's being drawn between the two groups of people. So it's interesting, the weaponization of immigration. So now, like I said, instead of making these people legal citizens that now they can't go nowhere, now they can stand up and say, hey, look, this guy over here, he's right. Like, if these conditions were, a lot better, whatever, 50 years ago, whatever comparison we use, they would now not be in fear to use their voice. So the politicians and the establishment use these people as pawns in the game. That's what's going on here. And it's a shame because they're some of the nicest people that I've ever met. Don't believe all that hype that they're coming here just to steal your jobs and they're gang members and all that. I mean, we have plenty of that here already that are Americans, all right? And it's really, that's propaganda to now piss off all the Americans that are already here, that have been here and are tax paying, whatever. And then you got this group over here who's receiving benefits. You're going to create Hegelian dialectic, which is problem, reaction, solution. So if they could create them two opposing factions, and now they can, induce a clash between them to, achieve, which is, at the end of it, it's all about international socialism. That should be worrisome, international socialism. Because what makes America different than the rest of the world is our standards. We have a high standard. We'll just compare it to China, for example. China doesn't have a high standard. They're allowed to, give people 10 cents an hour to make shit that, comes over here and sells for whatever, Jordans and iPhones and all that crazy. I mean, they literally have people, they have literally enslaved people, especially the Muslim population in China is in work camps. They're literally already in FEMA camps. Well, I'll call them FEMA camps. They're in concentration camps working to make shit, all right? So if you're buying stuff that's made in China, you're technically supporting slavery. It is what it is, we all do it. But we have these standards here that other countries don't have. So when we talk about this idea of a one world government or international socialism, we're talking about a set of rules that now applies to the rest of the world. And since America has a set of standards that's higher than the rest, America, whatever you want to call it, America, I'm sure there's other European countries, there's other countries as well that have high standards for workers and stuff like that. When you talk about, bringing in a set of rules for the whole world, that's going to bring the standard down because they're not going to be able to keep that kind of high standard for the whole globe. They're not going to be able to keep that kind of standard. They're going to have to bring it down because if they did keep that kind of high standard, you're going to have to pay people the amount of money that's relevant to the times. So that'll cut heavy into the billionaires. So what that means is that all of our standards are going to come down to meet the rest of the world. So international socialism is really the goal of this whole takeover, or whatever you want to call it. But to create strife in America, they allow for illegal immigrants to come in. They encourage it to come in. They basically are like, why become a citizen when you could just be an illegal immigrant? Because we know that if you're an illegal immigrant, the chances of you rocking the boat are going to be slim to none. And then that's going to create a problem with those that are already here. Like, for example, if all of a sudden they started giving redheaded people $5,000 a month simply because they had red hair, eventually what that will do is make everybody not like redheaded people. This is how they create these problems within. It's called Hegelian dialectic. Problem, reaction, solution. They fund both sides of it. And, they can move forward. It comes from George Hegel, the German philosopher. Not necessarily an evil thing, but it's being used in nefarious ways. So, just some food for thought. Any questions or comments, leave it in the section below. And just a topic I just wanted to talk about real quick. And everybody enjoy your day. Peace.